Today, we're diving into something that sounds like science fiction but is happening right now, the incredible intersection of artificial intelligence and our own mental health. And it all starts by trying to solve a really fundamental problem.
I mean, really think about that for a second. With most illnesses, a doctor can look for clear physical signs, a broken bone, a rash, a fever. But with mental health, the challenge has always been that the symptoms are on the inside. So, for a long time, the main tools we've had are based on what you tell your doctor and what they can see in the short time you're with them. And look, that's incredibly important, but it's also, by its very nature, subjective. It depends on memory, self-awareness, and interpretation, which can lead to diagnoses that are inconsistent and, sometimes even biased.
So what about this number? 227. What is that? Well, according to psychiatric research, that's how many different combinations of symptoms can lead to a diagnosis of major depressive disorder. It's wild, right? It means two people can have the exact same diagnosis but be experiencing it in completely different ways.
And that right there is the core challenge. When one label can mean so many different things, it's really hard to be precise and objective. This is where a totally new approach comes into the picture. One that uses technology not to replace our amazing clinicians, but to give them a brand new, powerful set of tools.
This new idea is all about training AI to be a kind of digital detective. Its job? To look for objective, measurable patterns that are hiding in plain sight, right within our daily lives. These patterns have a name: observable cues.
So, what's an observable cue? Basically, it's any little piece of data about your behavior or your body that can be picked up without you even trying. We're talking about the rhythm of your speech, the way you type on your phone, your sleep patterns from your smartwatch, or even just how much you move around during the day. It's like the digital exhaust we're all constantly putting out there. And these cues fall into a few big categories. There's the language we choose to use in texts or emails, the actual sound of our voice, our speech patterns, our facial expressions, captured by a webcam, our body's physiological signals, like heart rate, our mobility and activity levels, and of course, our digital behavior, how we actually use our phones. All of this together creates a unique digital signature.
Okay, let's get into it, because this is where things get really fascinating. What kind of digital fingerprints do different conditions actually leave behind? Well, it turns out the patterns are surprisingly consistent.
What's so amazing is how all these different little clues can point to one coherent story. For depression, the research consistently finds a clear pattern of withdrawal. Our language becomes more self-focused, with more I and me. Our speech tends to get slower, more monotonous. We go to fewer places, spend more time at home, make fewer phone calls, and instead we retreat into our screens.
Now, anxiety, that leaves a totally different kind of fingerprint. While it might share some things with depression, its signature is really one of physiological hyperarousal, that constant fight-or-flight feeling. AI can pick up on signals like irregular breathing or blood pressure, but a huge one is reduced heart rate variability. All that means is that the tiny natural variations in time between your heartbeats get smaller. It's a classic sign that your body is stuck in a state of high alert.
And then you get to more complex conditions like borderline personality disorder. The research highlights that its cues can often seem paradoxical or contradictory. For instance, AI analysis of facial expressions found people showing intense negative emotions, like anger or contempt, at the exact same time as they were putting on a social smile. It's like a window into a powerful internal conflict.
You can see this difference so clearly in our language. AI is getting good at telling apart the self-focused internal language of depression with all those I pronouns from the more other-focused external language often found with BPD, which might use pronouns like they a lot more. These are differences we might not even notice, but to an algorithm, they're mathematically distinct.
So, where is all this heading? How does this come together to actually help people? Well, this data isn't just about getting a better diagnosis. It's about building a whole new model for mental health care, one that transforms how we get support day in and day out.
And here's something that's really crucial to get. Some of these cues aren't just for one specific disorder. Things like that monotonous speech or the reduced heart rate variability, they actually show up across depression, anxiety, and BPD. These are called transdiagnostic markers, and they suggest that maybe these different conditions share some deep underlying mechanisms of distress. This insight really opens the door to a whole new way of doing things. Step 1, earlier detection. An AI could spot subtle shifts in your digital behavior long before you even feel like you're in a crisis. Step 2,
ongoing monitoring. Your wearable could help you and your doctor track symptoms objectively between appointments, not just based on how you remember feeling weeks ago. And finally, step 3, truly personalized interventions, where your care is actually tailored to your specific, unique digital fingerprint.
But, with any powerful new technology, the massive potential is matched by some pretty serious challenges. This is definitely not a simple plug-and-play solution. The road ahead is going to require some very careful and very responsible navigation.
To make this future a reality, we have to face these hurdles head-on. Who owns and protects this incredibly sensitive data? How do we make sure these algorithms aren't biased against certain groups of people? And how do we account for all the other things, like medications or even just your age and physical fitness, that can change these cues? These are not small questions. They're the big ones.
And that really brings us to our final thought. The digital trails we leave behind every single second could unlock a new era of proactive, personalized mental health care. The potential to finally see the unseen and to help people earlier and more effectively than ever before is just immense. The real question for all of us is how we build that future safely, ethically, and in a way that truly benefits everyone.